Hi, hello. Let me get the mic over here, Brandon. That might help. Hi, hello. Welcome to the Griffon Show. Long distance speaking right there. Anyway, great to have you with us. It is already Friday Eve, folks. A day you can talk about the things you know it ain't. That's tomorrow. See, Brandon, I've been
Man, Moon, you are screwed up right now.
We did. Well, look, I'm looking.
That's what you get for trying to multitask.
No, I'm doing a cruise deal that we already did.
We did yesterday.
By the way, it was a blast. I'm talking about some fine people last night, and it was a lot of fun. I'm not going to mention any of them by their names yet, but if they make me mad, I will. If they make me mad on the cruise, I'll get it when I get back. That's just that simple. But anyway, it was a great time last night on the cruise, and it's not too late for you to join us. Have some fun. All right. 844-766-6607. Hickson has a hotline. You know, folks, I just watching stuff. It's amazing what one man's reality and another man's reality is all about. I've documented and showed you from every report known to mankind that we have an economy problem here. We got a GDP problem for the last 2 years, negative, while the rest of the country is just taking off. We got a spending problem in Baton Rouge. We got a big government problem in Baton Rouge. Nobody acknowledges that. Since they don't acknowledge it, they cannot fix what they're trying to fix. I don't care how much money they take from us. And I've told the governor's people, and I've told people in this audience, and I'm running elected officials, and if we don't get our business climate straight, you've heard me preach it till I'm blue in the face, that we will never straighten Louisiana. We'll never have enough money to do the things we need to do. First of all, we're doing a lot of things we want to do. Everybody wants a university. You know, community colleges, never going to be bricks and mortar. And we go on and on and on. We spend. Medicaid expansion has been crippling our state big time financially. And our economy, I mean, the fact that the GDP has been negative for 2 years when everybody else has been up, it should trouble people. Suing of the oil and gas industry by the trial lawyers and John Bel Edwards' people. People think I like to pick on Bel Edwards. I really don't. I'm just giving you the facts and the information, but it's amazing. And I keep saying that if we don't get our economy straight and jobs straight, we can't get to where we need to be. And when I see job losses and major job falls, and the governors out there, they're talking about our unemployment is ticked down. The rest of the country's down because they have jobs. There was a big article by Tyler Bridges, and Bridges pointed out the reason numbers are down is because of out-migration and people quit looking for work. But that doesn't stop Bel Edwards and this Speaker Pro Tem Walt Leger from going out there and twisting the truth on the economy. But they can't twist what's really going on. And here's what I mean. Major employer in North Louisiana set to lay off as many as 227 employees next month. Simsboro Mayor Sybil Foster says a producing glass containers company producing glass containers is basically headed to shutdown. This was a company that got tax incentives during the general administration to retain a workforce. Okay? Now, this is in a little bitty town of Simsboro, not too far from Rob Shadwine, who, I ain't raising taxes, votes for every tax increase known to mankind. Another company, we know Smoothie King left. Was it Tidal Wave? What was the name of that company that left? It was an oil and gas company. They moved out of here. And yet the governor and Jay Darden and Walt Leger and people in the media don't even give a rat's rear end about real jobs, real economic developments where private sector is out there booming. Simsboro can't afford to lose these plant jobs. The whole plant probably will go. And that'll total about 450 jobs. But they keep talking about the jobs here. They keep talking about, well, we got more people working. That don't mean anything. Let me tell you what. Let me ask you a question, folks. We had 100 people working, making $60,000 a year. Okay? And the next year we got 110 working, averaging $30,000 a year. Which one would you rather see? And that's what's going on here. People are underemployed, people that don't want to leave the state, people that had good jobs and that are gone, especially in the oil and gas industry. And then Governor Jay Darden and Walt Leger and the media keeps telling us the economy's good. We do, and we're not compared. If you just look at GDP, we're less. When I read a story like this and to find people in Simsboro, it breaks my heart. Lincoln Parish. Rob Shadwine comes out of Lincoln Parish. I wonder if he represents this area. The mayor says the move will hit the community hard. It's one of our major employees in our area, and everybody's going to feel some effect of it. It's what's happening here. It's reality. And the mayor don't know if the company's going to be gone in the meantime. Yet, our governor, we got more people working than ever. What kind of jobs they got? Gov? It's the same governor that believes Medicaid's creating jobs. It's not. It's hurting us. But they believe this, and they keep telling people this. And I don't know where the honor code went. I'd like to know where the honor code went on all this. Well, Walter Leger, let me show you what elected officials do. Walter Leger, who was supposed to be the Speaker of the House, thank God it's Taylor Barrow. We'd be in so much trouble, it wouldn't even be funny in new taxes. Because they don't care about the business. Walter Leger spoke at the New Orleans Chamber of Commerce. Now, if you think I'm going to read all this to you, you're wrong. But the things he says, he doesn't give anybody in New Orleans, and most people are not going to go figure it out for themselves. And he spins everything and basically lies to people or doesn't tell them the whole truth. Let me just give you an example. I got part of his speech. It says, now why we should have hope. Well, of course, the last year unemployment is down a full point from a year ago, and more people are working in the state of Louisiana than ever before. Out-migration and people not looking for work have caused the unemployment to go down. Okay? But Walt's not talking. He's not talking about our incomes down in Louisiana. He's not telling people that. He just keeps throwing out a number. This is the Bell Edwards number. This is the same numbers they use, the same numbers they put out in the press. DXC Technology, that's the company supposed to go to New Orleans. Now, I'm reading, Bell Edwards has said many times, and they put out the last time I saw Richard Carbo, 2,000 jobs. This company's going to create 2,000 jobs. Go look at the original press briefing and go look through the newspaper when they brag about this one company coming. 2,000 jobs. Now let me quote Walt Leger in front of the chamber. DXC Technology, quote, have been heralded as one of the biggest economic development wins in the nation now. The Edwards says in our state it's the biggest. Nobody said nothing about a nation. Then he goes, we'll bring 3,000 jobs over the next 5 years, claiming stability and higher education as a motivating factor. The governor says 2,000 jobs. Leger gets in front of his people because he knows they're never going to check, and he throws 3,000 out there. Just lie. This is the guy they wanted to be Speaker of the House. Here's another one. Okay? He brags about 350 jobs coming, but he doesn't talk about Smoothie King leaving, Tidal Wave, or whatever the name of the company is, Simsboro losing 250 jobs. Here's another whopper. Also, just this past week, it's been reported Oklahoma and not Louisiana is the incarceration capital of the world, Brandon. We're second now. Brandon, I'll let you answer. Why is Louisiana not first in incarceration anymore?
Louisiana is not first because we decided to let some prisoners out way too early. I mean, forget the people that they might impact getting out of prison early, but yay, we get to be second worst in the nation by letting people out early.
So let me ask you a
question.
question. So you look at this incarceration with number one, and you go, you know what? If we only let go, if we let 1,500 people go, we now moved up a notch. Yeah. And he's bragging about that.
And never mind the people that impacts.
Well, Brian, you know what they ought to do? They ought to look and see who the next three people are and let that many more people out, and they can say, we jumped 5 points.
There you go.
This is a guy right here they wanted to be Speaker of the House, going to New Orleans, saying whatever he wants to say, and nobody paying attention to it. Then he talks about how his bill, my bill, created Louisiana Small Business Entrepreneur Council. What the hell is that? What the hell? A council. We got entrepreneurs. Why are small businesses leaving? Why are they closing up? When does this kick in? If he created the Louisiana Small Business Entrepreneurship Council, providing an avenue for the legislature depending on economic development of governor's offices to work in contrary with the small businesses and entrepreneurs, why didn't he save the Simsboro plant? However, listen to this, he told this to people. However, despite the major economic development wins, our failure to fund state priorities by the end of the second session puts at risk our credit rating. Folks, our GDP is down for the last 2 years. What major economic development wins? I'd like to know. Why are people out migrating for jobs if anything Leger told the Chamber of Commerce is true? But it's not true. Another little weenie liberal saying whatever he wants because nobody's going to take him to task. I'll do one more little paragraph with him. I can't do too much of him because this is a speech of lies. I'm just being honest with you. Simsboro, I feel sorry for you guys, but raising taxes right now, how is that going to help the people in Simsboro that are losing jobs? We'll be right back. Hi, y'all. Welcome back. Moon Griffon Show. Wow, Friday Eve already. All righty. Walt Leger goes to the Chamber of Commerce in New Orleans. They just listen to him. And nobody disputes anything he says. This is what elected officials do. They go back and they go to this man, they talk, and most people listen to them, and whatever they say, they're not paying attention to it. So they go, wow, I didn't know he did all that. He started a small business entrepreneur council. What did they do? What's it do? How does it stop businesses leaving or closing? It doesn't. Another one of those councils or provide an avenue for legislature, Department of Economic Development, Governor's Office, in concert with small business entrepreneurs across the state to remove barriers, unnecessary regulations, or identify and act. I mean, come on, they're not doing all that. Taxes are the problem for businesses, and you're trying to raise them. So all other stuff is crazy. Fees are the problem, and you're trying to raise them. So all that stuff, you can say all that stuff sounds great in front of a chamber, but Leger don't mean nothing about it. He knows he can fool people. So they talk about major economic development wins. What are they? The governor says we created 2,000 jobs in one year, and Leger's up to 3,000. Because you see, once you start lying, you just start telling bigger lies. Well, if the governor can say 2,000, when I go to New Orleans, they won't know. I'll just say 3,000. And then take credit for it. $4 billion in extra money spent. Some said 5.2. Biggest budget ever, and they're crying about not having enough money. That means you'll never have enough money. At the end of the thing, he goes, combination of politics and compromise are generally necessary in order to reach an agreement. That is our goal, is to actually reach an agreement. But let's say, this is what he's saying, let's say hypothetically, Brandon, that your goal was to discredit the other side, ultimately get their leader, let's say the governor, defeated in the next election. A strategy to achieve the goal might be to see the state government under his watch crash and burn. Let's call this Operation Scorch Earth. An effective way to crash state government is to not fund it sufficiently to pay for the basic services some citizens need and others expect. A full-on government shutdown might be plausible in such a strategy of obstruction. So what he's saying is that Republicans obstruct. They just don't want Bill Edwards to win re-election. I don't want him to win re-election because all he talks about is taxes. He hasn't accomplished anything except expanding Medicaid, which is causing a lot of the problems. Why would you want a man who ran on the honor code, who only won because of two Republicans knifing in his back? One of them he hired his division of administrator, who now will get $14,000, $18,000 a year the rest of his life when he retires, Jay Dorton. Why would you want somebody with no leadership ability, when all he wants to do is take money out of people's pocket, causing a dang depression in the economy? Why would you want somebody like that reelected? That's what I don't understand. Walt Leger's upset because he's not Speaker of the House. If this man was the Speaker of the House, we wouldn't have had a special session. We'd be living with the highest sales tax and property taxes and every kind of taxes known to mankind. Because that's all they've tried to do. And they don't tell you that the reason they want to tax us so much is so Bill Edwards can take that money and run to these departments and say, vote for me, look what I did for you. They're not even being sincere on what the budget deficit was when he went in. It wasn't $2 billion. It wasn't even close to $2 billion. Probably was closer to $1 billion than it was $2 billion. But they kept using the number so they can come back and say, wow, we got surpluses. This guy wanted, if the number they want now is $500 million, they wanted $500 million more than that. Because it would have made it look so much better. Look what this man's done in just a few years. And that's going to be the narrative next year. They can't run on the economy. Anything they say about the economy is an outright lie. And there's Leger. And this is what these elected officials do. They're going to do it in Lafayette, Monroe, Shreveport, Alexandria. They're going to do it in Homer, Thibodaux. They're going to do it everywhere. Manny leads. They're going to go back, and people are going to go to a little Kiwanis Club, a chamber meeting, or whatever. Most people not even knowing what went on. They only know what they read in the headlines, and they're going to be talking about all they tried to do, and they tried to work, and they tried to compromise, and these few Republicans just screwed it up. It's taken a lot of courage for the Republicans that have stood together during this. Give you an example. You know who's carrying the water for John Bel Edwards on the half-cent sales tax in this session? Republican Stuart Bishop. Stuart Bishop is carrying the water for John Bel Edwards. He's carrying the half-cent sales tax. The reason they look at Stuart's never had to run for office. Nobody's ever run against him. I heard he's got $250,000 sitting in the bank to slam anybody that gets into him. But if somebody would run that could raise money, you can run against Stuart Bishop's record and his work with this governor and his work to push a half-cent sales tax down our throat. He's carrying the water for the governor. He's a Republican. I'm trying to figure out, what? Look, Ryan Gaddy on Keel yesterday was the front page on the Dead Pelican. Ryan Gaddy, we need a half-cent sales tax. Ryan Gaddy, a leftist Republican out of the Shreveport area, and I don't care what church he goes to, he's a leftist when it comes to your money. I'm just being blunt. Ryan, I think we have to have a half a penny. Oh, Ryan, who voted for the penny. That's Ryan Gaddy. He's backing a proposal of a half-cent sales tax. He wants another $650 million in taxes from you people that go to church with him. An economy that doesn't need any more taxes. Ryan Gaddy, what a star, what a stud. We'll take a break. You're listening to the Moon Griffon Show.
Louisiana Association of Broadcasters Prestige Award winner, The Moon Griffon Show is uniquely Louisiana.
I don't like you no more. I put that in there. That must have been Rob put that in there.
One of the best liners he's ever had cut here on K-Bell.
We got to throw away that. I'm going to get that bird out. I'm going to get that bird out before you do that, man.
Oh, no.
Yeah,
just reminded about how uniquely Louisiana the Moon Griffon Show is over the commercial break.
All right, 844-766-6607. Hickson has that hotline. People upset with me. I'm sticking to my guns. I just not going to back off. The bill that the governor wanted was 0.5, and Bishop's running it. And I'm just disappointed. I'm just very disappointed. I think Republicans trying to find a way to add more money. Brandon, if it's the biggest budget ever, why would you make it Why would you want to make it even bigger than that? It's just frustrating to me. You hope you're better than this. You hope. I'll say it again. Why are Republicans elected again? Less government, less tax. I hope these guys that are, and we're going to see it. I'm going to say it again. The Republicans for Edwards. That was a theme in the last election. You want to get on and say it? I'm just telling you, that was a theme of the last election. We're going to know the Republicans for Edwards. We're going to know it big time. We're going to know it from the votes they made. And I'm telling you, it's coming up. It's coming up. You watch. Mark my word. They passed 3 bills, 30.33, 0.33, but took away some deductions. 0.4, which goes on steady, and then Bishop's bill, 0.5, which comes down, but that's not coming down. That's not ever coming down. It'll be Brandon, can you imagine go from a half a cent to a third a cent, and then you don't think somebody will say, well, what are we going to do? Where are we going to get that money from?
Well, and that's what it reminds me of 2 years ago when the sales tax was increased. Well, all of a sudden now we're trying to replace the money from that. It never ends.
That's what I'm saying. All this stuff never ends. It's not leadership. It's not leadership. And it's no leadership from the governor's office. All right, let's take a couple phone calls. 844-766-6607. Hickson has it. Hotline. Ron Gaddy, I think we have to do half a penny. And see, when this thing remember when it comes out the House, any one of those bills, okay, when it comes out the House, it goes to the Senate. John Alario and the liberal Paige Cortez and the liberal Ron Gaddy on the Republican side are going to jack it up. Paige Cortez, Gaddy, John Alario, it's all the same stuff. Let's go. Mike on the air, Mike on the road. How you doing, Mike?
Doing well, Moon. Thanks for taking my call. And funny thing, that's who I'm calling about, Ron Gaddy. I left Caddo Parish because of John Milkovich come over to Bossier, and I've got Ron Gaddy now, and he's worse, bigger liberal than Milkovich is. So I just hope everybody in Bossier Parish is listening to your show. Let's get rid of this lying hypocrite that hides behind his church.
Yeah, I'm going to be honest with you. I'm glad he's in church. I'm glad he believes in the Lord. But I tell you what, he believes in higher taxes and big government.
But he's a hypocrite.
On what do you? I want to know when he ran for office, Mr. Gaddy, how many advertisements did he run that I will go and raise your taxes on families? I don't care if jobs are falling down. I don't care if jobs are leaving our area. We're raising taxes. We got to fund state government. Did he run any ads saying that? And if he ran any if he ran any ads saying that he was for jobs and creating jobs and for economic development and all that stuff, well, it can't be because he's for higher taxes. They don't go together.
Well, that law ran as a fiscal conservative. That was what he was running on.
Well, let me tell you something. Look at his record. He's nowhere near a fiscal conservative. And he also, along with Milkovich, voted for John Alario. Look, the vote for John Alario proved you're not a fiscal conservative. It proves you're a deal maker because you just made a deal with the biggest deal maker in Baton Rouge.
Well, his voting record's going to come bite him right in the ass this time coming up. I can promise you that.
All right, man. I got to go. Thanks for the call. 844-766-6607. Hickson has a hotline. By the way, it was Keel reporting on their website. Ron Gaddy, quote, I think we have to do the half a penny. Yep, Ron Gaddy says that we need between $640 and $650 million. Here's the other thing, Brandy. Remember last year when Edwards and maybe early part of this year, it was early part of this year, Edwards and Jay Darden and Robert Alley were going around telling people that they'd cut $650 million out the budget. Nobody cried. Nobody whimpered. Nothing closed. Nobody lost a job. How can you do that? Because you're talking about cutting $100 million, they're freaking out. And I told y'all this. They are doing exactly what I showed y'all. If you do the budget that the Republicans wanted, they were about $200 million off. Okay, on a quarter cent, Brandon. Quarter third, whatever it was. And the point being is that we start crying. We're going to cut tops. We're going to cut this. We're going to cut that. We're going to cut this. They cut $645 million out, and nobody whimpered. Nobody said a word. Not one word. So now we got to raise up to the $650. Keith in Lafayette. How you doing, Keith?
Doing great, Moon. Listen, I got a possible catchphrase for you. Instead of calling these people liars, which they're going to be considered victims after that, why don't we just say that, you can deny the facts, but you can't change the truth? As hard as they do that, they try to change the truth, it can't be done. Now, what we're talking about today is raising taxes. If you heard, even it was on this morning's show with Bernadette, they have a new campaign, End Extreme Poverty. What are these people talking about? We're trying to resolve poverty from step one. They want to elevate it another 10 steps to extreme poverty. This is a point, again, for more money. You know, we need to regulate our population. You want to do something about poverty, you regulate your population, correct?
Well, you regulate population to do something about poverty. What do you mean you regulate them?
Well, if you have a child that you can't afford, do you go out and have 3, 4, 5 more?
No, I know what you're saying. It's like having you had 3 cars and you can't afford them, so you go get a 4th car note.
Right. Exactly, Moon. And this has been going on for too long now. You know, you don't want to see what the true problem is and confess the problem. You'll never resolve the issue.
Yeah. Well, we don't fix issues because we don't deal with issues. Okay? We don't deal with them. We don't deal with any issues. We just never do.
Exactly.
And since you're not going to fix anything, example, how many times you heard me preach, let's make this the friendliest business state in the country, which would be radically different than what we're doing now. We've tried what we're doing now every year for 80 years. We're going to raise more taxes. We're going to expand programs. We're going to fix education. We're going to fix our roads. We had a time program, didn't fix the roads. Okay? Well, we need more money for the roads. Well, what happened when we gave you money to fix them? Well, Moon, that was in the past. Oh, sure. Just give you some more. We don't fix anything. We go expand Medicaid, which is a major disaster. Okay? It really is. I'm all for helping people. The people that deserve it, need it, I got a problem with it. We do that. We got too many universities. We don't deal with that. We started community college. We promised people no bricks and mortar. $500 million in bricks and mortar. We don't work. We talk about economic development, and I said it before years ago, and I don't know how long you've been listening. It's become the nastiest 2 words in our state's economic development because they don't mean it. If they meant it, they would design our state taxes to be where businesses are going to be first, they're going to prosper, and I promise you we'll grow our economy, and they'll have all the money they need. Maybe not all the money they want. Like right now, I got all the money I need. I might not have all that I want. A lot of people have all they need, but not maybe what they want. But I don't worry about the one. Like, I like to buy a new Ranger bass boat. That is a 100% won't. It's 100% out of my budget, by the way. It's no way I'm buying a bass. You see me with a Ranger bass boat? My ship came in. I had it one hell of a year. Anyway, got to run. Thanks for the call. We'll be right back. You're listening to the Moon Griffon Show.